What's up, everybody? This is VisitJoan, and welcome to what is probably one of the most ambitious builds I have done to date. But before we go any further on that, I would like to say congratulations to fellow YouTuber Kari Sims on the birth of her son. Avery Cooper was born August 1st, 2019 at 3:43 p.m., 7 pounds, 5.8 ounces, and 20.5 inches long. Congratulations to the whole family. I wish you guys the best of luck in the future. And if you haven't heard of her, I suggest you go check her out. She's already pre-recorded tons of videos so that she'll be available during this maternity leave kind of from YouTube. So please check her out. She will really appreciate it, and congratulate her herself. Anyway, you guys, as a kid I had this really weird shipwreck obsession. Actually, it was one shipwreck in particular, but I'm not going to go any further into that because I'd really rather forget about that dark time in my life. But I'm telling you this so that you guys will understand that when I saw this shipwreck lot that came with Island Living, I was completely elated, and I realized I have to do my own. So I decided to make it like a cruise shipwreck. Now, the story behind this is that, it actually is like a cruise shipwreck kind of, combined with the old shipwreck that was there. And it kind of happened because, you know, there was a volcano and stuff. I didn't think this through. But anyway, the story is that, you know, there was this one woman, I don't remember what I named her. Oh, geez, I'm gonna have to look that up now. But anyway, she was on a cruise when, I don't know, there was a shipwreck, and, you know, a lot of people did get off on lifeboats, but, you know, there wasn't time to get everybody off, and she and her family didn't have time to get off, so they woke up, like, marooned on this random deserted island, and the only people that, like, inhabited this island were, like, you know, indigenous people of Sulani. So, you know, eventually they found the ship, and after that there had been some, like, volcanic earthquake activity, stuff like that, and so, the ship had, like, somehow sunken underground and combined with a shipwreck that was already there. I don't even know how that's possible, but apparently it is. So they decided, you know, they had nowhere to go. There was no way off this island. So, you know, they decided to live in this basically wrecked ship. And what happened is that this girl was pretty much exploring, and she came across a traditional island, how do I put this? Matchmaking ceremony. There we go. So she didn't know exactly what was going on, but the people there that were participating in the ceremony thought she wanted to participate in it when she actually didn't, and there was a big commotion, and so one of the guys that lives on the island, one of the natives, he comes there and he says, "Hey, guys, cut it out. She doesn't want to do this." So after that, he came by the shipwreck site and showed, like, all the people who were living there, you know, how to, like, survive on the island and stuff like that, because, you know, there was really, like, no way to the mainland, because this, you know, was, like, a pretty much isolated society. But anyway, he and this girl, I don't remember her name again, they fell in love, and one thing led to another. They found the waterfall, and eventually she ended up pregnant, and she kind of hid it for a while because, you know, she didn't really want her family to know and stuff like that. But when it became obvious, that's when it kind of became a problem because, you know, her family pretty much expected her to marry this guy. And while they were, you know, really in love and they kind of did want to get married, there was no way to get married because it's an isolated society. There's no way to actually get back to a place where they could make the marriage official. So it's like, you know, her grandmother especially was like, when are you going to marry this guy? And she's like, how am I going to marry him? You know, there's no way we can do this. But eventually what happened is they decided to do, like, a traditional island ceremony, and that way they would be considered married by the local people, and then they could, when they were finally rescued, they could go to, like, I don't even know what they call these things, like a city hall or something like that, and show them the, you know, proof that they had gotten this island ceremony, and then they would be officially married. So they went ahead and they got married, and by the time they actually were rescued, you know, she was so far along in the pregnancy that, well, they had the indigenous healers and stuff like that. So, you know, if something had been terribly wrong, they could have gotten her to the society But fortunately, that wasn't needed, and, the pregnancy went just fine. But she was so far along that when they took her to a doctor, the doctor's like, wait a minute, you're almost full term. You're not going to be going anywhere until this baby is born. So while most of the people were able to go back home, she and her family stayed with her. They stayed until the baby was born. And baby Francesca, I remember her name, was born happy and healthy. And the new family decided to settle down in the wreck of the cruise ship and make it their own home. And what they did is they kind of like fitted it. They kind of like, as you can see right now, I'm actually making the different cabins or staterooms. And, the one on the port, I think it's port. Oh my god. Left and right are hard enough! Anyway, no. Starboard's right, left is port. Okay, yeah. Okay, got it. So, the one on the port side is actually like a suite, and that's kind of like the master bedroom. But they turned like all the cabins and staterooms into rooms for their children, and they kind of like refitted the ship, you know what I mean? Like they kept the kitchen, well, we're on a ship, so it's the galley, but things like that, and the dining room the same, but they really just like, they designed their own living room, and, as time went on, the like indigenous society actually became more involved and less isolated, so that was a good thing for everybody. But, so they have 4 children, and I actually played the 4th pregnancy out just so I could get some like pictures of what would have been like the first pregnancy of them pregnant in this like little shipwreck, and get a picture of their wedding and all of that. But when I went to furnish the bedrooms, I had like a nursery planned out, so I decided to basically furnish it for a girl because I figured they have 1 girl and 2 boys, so I don't know, it would kind of be fair if the baby was another girl. But the baby ended up being a boy, so I might just change everything from pink to blue, or I might just leave it pink and just forget about gender stereotypes. But, I don't know. It for the purposes of this video, it is a nursery for a girl. But, anyway, this was quite the lot to build because it's not like a traditional house. And I kind of like those houses that are not really all that traditional. Like, I don't know, I mean, I want to live in a Fortress City treehouse, I want to live in space, I want to live in all these, like, weird things that's just, like, not traditional, and I kind of feel like I myself don't live in a traditional house because it's a raised ranch, and I think I already told that story, but I don't remember what video it was. Anyway, this is just me kind of flooring everything. I kind of cut it out, a lot of it out, because you don't need to see me, floor every single thing in the ship. And that's the one thing. It took a long time to build, and I did take a big break in the middle of it, but it also took, I felt like it was going to take forever to edit, and it really just, I spent 2 days working on it. It wasn't really that hard, but I cut a lot out, and you'll see that, it not just the usual I cut out with me deciding what piece of decor goes where, but also just me doing like anything like really repetitive. I just completely cut it out because you guys don't want to sit here for like 5 hours watching me build this. So the video ended up being just like 26 minutes, and I think that's, good enough for a video like this. But anyway, so it was really interesting to build this because I was thinking, okay, like what is actually on a cruise ship? And I would know that because I've actually been on a cruise ship. Oh goodness, I'm probably going to tell all that story later, but anyway, I wanted to put like a bunch of things that would be in a cruise ship. Like I have a nightclub, a karaoke room, a pool. Well, actually there were several pools on the ship that I was on. But there was a pool with like a hot tub there, and there were basketball hoops, and there was like a track on the one I was on, but I didn't know how to even put that there. But, I had like each room had their own like little, well, our room had a balcony. My dad was joking about like charging everyone $5 just to go on the balcony, but for the purposes of this ship, every room has like a little balcony. And so what I pretty much did is I had the 3 floors that were above ground. They were like the bedrooms, like those are the actual staterooms. And then the floors that were underground were actually like the communal stuff that, was on the ship. So, and I put like, I put a lot of decorating into this, and I did have a lot of, issues with these lights, as you can see. I didn't show the whole thing, but I'm like, okay, now I gotta figure out, they don't line up perfectly. I guess I should have figured that out before I started building this ship, but you know what? I found a way to make it work. I just put like a bunch of columns there, and, it all worked out. So, I like these lights. I never really get to use them, and so it was fun to just pick out all the different colors, pick out my favorite colors. And I also put, like, you know, a lot of decorations on, like, the side of the ship. There's a place where you can paint a mural. I probably cut that out on accident. And I put a bunch of pride flags on the ship because I think, you know, with, like, a teenage girl or teenage boy, they would have just decorated it, and I feel like, you know, let's just show our support and put some pride flags there. You know, if you don't like them, you can get rid of them. But, you know, we are inclusive here. That's what's going on. Anyway, here's me decorating the outside of, like, you know, what the outside of the cruise ship would have been like. And I actually am doing this voiceover a little bit differently in the fact that I actually am recording on Final Cut. But I normally do it in GarageBand, but I figured for this build, it would probably be better for me to record it in the editing program myself, because now I finally figured out how to do it. But anyway, here we are at the galley, and I tried to, like, kind of keep this, maybe, like, they would have turned it into somewhat of a homey kitchen, but also would have kept it, you know, the way it was. They would have kept all the stoves and all the, stuff, I don't know. But, there probably would be more of this stuff on the ship, because, you know, you gotta feed a lot of people on these cruises. But, you know, I did keep multiple stoves, multiple sinks, like 2 of everything, kind of to make it look like it was once, you know, part of a cruise ship. But I also made it, have it like a little homey and stuff like that. And I have no idea why I went for green. I really don't. I've never actually seen the galley of a ship, so, but anyway, this is when I pretty much started furnishing, oh my god, furnishing the build. And, you know, I left the heads out because nobody wants to see me put a toilet in the build, and that would just waste too much time. And this video is already so long, you know. But, I guess, you know, now I can talk a little bit about the cruise I went on, and I'll, you know, jump in with some random stuff about the build when it comes to that. But anyway, my aunt decided, you know, we were all going to go on a cruise January of 2011. And well, it actually happened. So we, sailed out of New Orleans. So, and my dad does not do the airport. So we had to drive from Chicago to New Orleans, and we took 2 days to get down there. And like on the first day, we were, I don't even know, like we went under this, like, you know how they have like roads that cross highways over, like the overpass or whatever it's called. We went over one of those, and then, you know, when we came out, it was like really snowing, and then all of a sudden we just stopped. And we weren't going anywhere. It was like standing still traffic. And this is like in Illinois in January. So you can imagine what probably happened, but I kind of already had to go to the bathroom while we were doing this, so you kind of had to hold it. But, anyway, we were sitting there for like 90 minutes, and we saw like 7 tow truck car carrier things come over. And when we finally got to go, you know, I had to go to the bathroom, so we stopped at like the McDonald's down the road. And, you know, so did several other people. We actually ran into someone I went to high school with who was probably going back to college. He was fine. The car was fine. And he was talking about how he was telling his dad that. So, you know, good news. But my dad overheard the state trooper telling the woman at the counter that there were like 47 separate accidents. And my mom actually called my grandpa and told him, can you put on the news to see what the heck is going on? Because we're just sitting here doing nothing. So my dad was like, this is why we decided to take 2 days to go down there. And yeah, so we stopped in Sikeston, Missouri for the night. And then we drove the rest of the way to New Orleans the next day with my aunt and, you know, her friends that we were going with. So, you know, what was funny is that once, there was one particular leg of the journey where my cousin, you know, was in, she was in our car along with, you know, one of the other girls we were with, and she just goes, hey, Uncle Norm, who's your favorite niece? And my dad just says, without hesitation, the name of my cousin's oldest daughter, who was like not even 2, not even about to turn 2, she was born in May, but, you know, 1.5. Let's say, and that was probably the most hilarious part of the drive over there. So we kind of toured New Orleans a bit, and then we got on the cruise ship, and that was the day that the New Orleans Saints were playing for like a wild card or something like that. So, like, every third person on this ship had some sort of New Orleans Saints getup. And we went into, like, a Walgreens in New Orleans. And not only did they have, like, all these Mardi Gras masks, but they also had this giant inflatable Saints player. And, you know, I'm not even going to go there. But anyway, you know, we get on the ship. So our first stop was in Key West. And, oh my goodness, I absolutely loved it there. First of all, you know, it was, whatchamacallit. First of all, it was January, and I was walking around in a tank top and shorts. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is living the dream. If I could buy a, a winter house in Key West, I would totally do it. And then rent it out in the summer, and they'll have to worry about the hurricanes. But, yeah, Key West was truly just beautiful. There were these chickens just wandering all over the place. And then, you know, we had a day to just hang around the ship. And then we went to the Bahamas. And what we did there is we went on, like, a deserted island snorkeling tour. And the guys that were running the tour were absolutely hilarious. This one guy was like, okay, we have water, we have soda, and we have Bahama Mamas. Now, you're limited to 2 Bahama Mamas before you snorkel, because one person had 3, and he started seeing mermaids down there. So we're, you know, going out in the boat, and one of the women we were with, you know, she had to use the bathroom, and I had used it before then. It was just like this little bathroom, but the toilet seat was like coming off. She goes in the bathroom. She comes out. She's like, I need another Bahama Mama. Like, oh my goodness, it's not that bad. But anyway, we get to the reef, and the captain says, okay, this is Treasure Reef. So if you find any Rolexes, you give them to me. And, you know, we went snorkeling, and then after we went snorkeling, we went to this, like, deserted island where we had this, oh my goodness, this food was amazing. It was so good. My cousin, he's like about 12 years younger than me, and I was 20, so that would have made him like 7 or 8 or something like that. But he wanted to bring one of those guys home so that they could cook for him, and I'm like, well, good luck getting that through customs. And we had a lot of fun on this cruise. There was people to hang out with every day. We went to comedy shows. There was some really funny ones. Like, there was this one guy. Okay, I'll tell you a joke I learned on this cruise. Okay, what do you call a dog that has no legs? You can call him whatever you want, but he's not coming. And there were a bunch of other funny things. Like, we did a sing-along, although I had to get out early because people were smoking, and the smoke was just like, ugh, no, I don't want to breathe it. And we went to a Battle of the Sexes event, and one of the contests were to create a paper airplane. So the MC was going around asking people, you know, what they named their airplanes, and this one guy's like, Doom to the Aggies. And then he flies the plane, and it doesn't even make it off the stage before it nosedives. And the MC was just like, that must be... Gosh, 8 years later, and I can't stop laughing at this, but the MC was like, that must be an Aggie. And, you know, there were a couple of frustrating things, and probably the most frustrating thing that happened on this cruise, what happened at the very end, because my parents decided, okay, we got to drive all the way back to Chicago, we're gonna disembark ourselves, and, well, we were trying to get on the elevator, and every time the elevator stopped at our floor, it was, like, completely full. Well, once it stopped and there was, like, space for one, so I was like, go ahead, we'll wait for you down there. So I go on the elevator, I go down to the main level where they're getting off the ship, and I wait, and, you know, my parents aren't coming, so I decided, you know what, I need to sit down. I went in, like, the little theater and just sat there, and I waited some more, and my parents didn't come. So finally, I call my mom's phone, and I'm like, where are you? And she's like, oh, we already went through customs. You're kidding me, right? This is the first time I have ever been out of the country, and you didn't even have the sense of mind to wait for me before you went through customs. So I had to go through customs by myself. And it was, oh my God, it was just taxing. I had to explain to the guy what happened. He's like, you know what, don't worry, we'll get you through it. Fortunately, I have my passport on me so that they know I'm an American citizen and I'm not trying to like sneak in the country or anything. But, you know, I was trying to fill out the form and I needed to know how to spell Bahamas, and I was looking in my bag for this like little trinket that I bought, and this woman just like yelled at me like, no cell phones! Okay, whatever. But, yeah, that was great. And then I had to spend 14 hours with those same 2 people in the car. Yeah, that was a fun time. But anyway, when I got home, I actually missed a lot about that cruise. I missed the rocking of the ship, which was just really interesting. Of course, I missed it being warm. But I think what I missed the most is just having something to do every day with people. And honestly, yes, I do miss that about school. And, it's just been so long since I've actually had that in my life that I've just become accustomed to not, having that. And I've just become numb to the fact that I actually do miss it a lot. Anyway, right now we are, okay, nope, I went back to the master suite. But anyway, so my aunt decided, okay, you know what, January of 2013, we're going to do this cruise again. And, I was excited. And one day I was talking to my mom about the cruise, and she said, you know what, they actually found a cheaper one that's actually while you're in school. So, no, you can't go. Are you freaking kidding me? Yeah, that really kind of ticked me off because, while they were off cruising in the Caribbean, I was walking all the way across campus in like single-digit temps, and that's in Fahrenheit. I don't even know what the heck that is in Celsius. My range of Celsius understanding is from 0 to 40, but I was not happy about that, and I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm done. If you care more about money than my particular feelings, then I'm done with you, because that's how people get hurt. And, eventually they moved to a state that's even farther away from where I live. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with that. And to make matters worse, I was just sitting in class one day when we just randomly received a phone call. The teacher picked it up, and it's just like, oh yeah, all of a sudden it was like a ship's horn. And I'm like, okay, it's official. The universe hates me. It's like the universe is rubbing this in my face. Like, seriously, I can't get away from it. But you know what? At least we had the foreign language residence program dinners that, so it's again, something to look forward to every day, which I miss a lot. But, I just really just want to go back, especially to like fall of 2012, because I don't know, that was just, I just enjoyed that so much. I was having so many problems, but I was happy. And, that scene in Endgame really just hit me hard when they go back to New York in 2012, because I've spent the last 4 years of my life wishing I could do exactly that. And, I actually am happy, content for like a little while with the YouTube stuff. It's like, I almost don't need anything else, but I mean, I really do. It's a long and complicated story. But anyway, right now we are furnishing the room for the child boy. I would say youngest boy, but then there was a baby boy too. But anyway, I'm sorry I left out, putting the dresser in there, and I thought I was cutting out something and I accidentally cut that out. I'm like, you know what, video's long enough, just leave it out. I'm sorry about that. And I gave each bedroom their own adjoining bathroom because, in like cruise ships, they would actually have, their own, each stateroom would have its own bathroom. And so behind this, on this floor, there's like a pool that it's like a bar. It's like the ocean bar where you can like look into the pool through the windows and you can see people swimming. I just think that's really cool. That's, not the first time I've done that. Well, actually, it probably was because I did this before I did the other build. And, this lot, it does have some play issues. Like, I think it's like so much data maybe that it was kind of laggy. And I have a really high-end computer. So that's probably going to cause some of you guys some problems if you do. And it will eventually be available on the gallery. But, anyway, I had a sim that was, that had a bladder failure. And I got this, like, neat little achievement called No Excuses. And you can see it on my Instagram. And that was because, I tell my Sims to do something, and then they'd sit there for 5 minutes thinking about it. Even when they were in the middle of doing something, they would stop and think. So, just a heads up. But anyway, now I am doing Francesca's room, and I gave her the little suite that was at the top floor because I figured, she's the oldest, so she gets a little something. And I just went all out with this room. I really just don't like it when people just say everything they're doing in the video because it's like, yeah, I can see that. I can see you put a gaming system on the yellow table. I don't need to hear that. Although, to be fair, I do a lot of times watch these while I'm building or while I'm, editing videos. So a lot of times I'm not actually watching it. I'm just listening to it. So yeah, that does kind of come in handy then. But you know what? I'm not going to do that in my video because I just don't like it when I'm watching a video and people are like doing that. I was just trying a bunch of different things until I found something I like. I was going for colorful And, you know, I really like how it turned out. I kind of wanted to use that little canopy over the bed. You'll see it in a minute. But anyway, you know, there are several things that I really like how they turned out. I really like how the little toddler's room turned out. I think I do like how this bedroom turned out. And we are now at the end of the build, and so I'm gonna get up out of here. I gotta clean my guinea pig's hay rack, because, you know, they sit and eat in there and do other things in there. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate giving it a like. Please consider subscribing, and I'm going to be seeing you in the next video, guys. Hopefully, I know it won't be as long as this one, but I'll be seeing you guys. Bye!